Greetings, greetings, family. Thank you so much for tuning Black in. The Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. I'm going to try and adjust so you're not seeing that glare. Perhaps not. I had to turn the light on. I'm just going to lower it a little bit so it's not so obvious. Because it's 10,000 degrees in Phoenix today. I'm not kidding. I think my car had, are you really in the car? It just had a message like, why are you out? It's just, whew, it is a hot one. I think it's 107 today. Something like that. But I had to turn the overhead light because I have all the drapes and stuff, pulled, so no light up. Obviously, a lot of light is coming in upstairs. So this is how we do. The monsoon is going to be here at the end of the month. So hopefully we'll have some rain. So anyway, hope everyone's having a good Friday Eve. It seems like these weeks are just flying really quickly. So I wanted to go ahead. I hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you so much for tuning in. So let me go ahead and read the fair use disclaimer as I always do, because it's important for me. I don't have a large audience, but perhaps when I do, I just want to have everything in alignment of what I am doing is, within protocol. So let's go ahead. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So I titled this discussion, Two Americas. Two Americas. We have two Americas. Undeniable. Undeniable. It is almost not so much shocking, just more disturbing of the obvious nature. They're not trying to hide it anymore. They're just not. So I read a book some years ago. The person who wrote it is Andrew Hacker. And he wrote it like probably in the late 90s. You can, check behind me. But let me just sit over, just slide a little bit so the glare is not so obvious. Okay. So this is where we are. And so I want to say, we have been hoodwinked and bamboozled once again. And it's just sickening. It's really sickening, because what I am saying is President Biden has decided not to conduct an executive order on the January 6th uprising or whatever, trying to overturn insurrection, sorry, not uprising. So insurrection. He will not, I saw it just a few moments ago, he will not conduct an independent, he won't use executive order for anything. So what does he use an executive order for? If you don't do it any other time, this is the time to say, hey, this happened on my watch. Even though he wasn't officially president, he had already been elected. It was just popping circumstances on the 21st that he took office. That's customary and traditional. But enough. We have been slapped in the face and turned and slapped again and turned and slapped. I mean, what else is he not going to do? It's so obvious. We are living in two Americas. I mean, it's sad to say, but I don't think it's ever been anything else. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not, the home of the free and the land of the brave. That's all almost laughable. Everything is laughable right now, in my estimation, because it is if these folks who stormed the Capitol were black and brown. Just think about that, just for a minute. Now, we would not do it because we're civilized people. We accept, quote unquote, defeat. We just kind of move on to the next challenge. This is in our soul. This is in our energy of our body, our mind, our spirit. We're not going to storm the Capitol, even though chances are we would not live to see it or experience it if we did. They've been taking target practice on us. But this is why we're living in two different Americas. Because if you present yourself as black or brown person, we have certain set of rules, guidelines, etc. Now, if you live Caucasian, sometimes the other people, the Latinos, they could be European minded, but for the sake of argument, I'm going to say Caucasians, people from European, that region. They have a whole different experience. Because to say that one nation under God, this is not one nation under God. I don't know if it's ever been. So, white women just started voting in the late 50s, maybe late 50s. I'm thinking I didn't do too much on this with the dates and stuff, but they haven't been voting for a long time. And obviously we have not. Black and brown people have not been voting. Usually white men, who own people, former slave owners, those kind of folks, they have front and center white men. And they're so angry. Why are they so angry? Everything is at their feet. That's why the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Because in their mind, we got to take back. We were wrong. Oh my gosh, it's just totally laughable. And somebody was on, let's see, I was watching MSNBC, maybe. I'm not doing a plug, but I think it was one of those. But anyway, there was a sister that was, I think, the other sister is out on maternity, or she's about to have the baby. Abby Phillip, and I think it was CNN or one of them. They're all the same. But I think it was like a guest. She was a guest. It was like a round table, and they were talking about Biden's decision not to. I thought I was trying to. Okay, am I reading it right? Because it flashed on the screen. And I was like, he's not. This is another slap in the face. I mean, if you're not going to do anything else, that should be the one thing that you do, because in that way we will kind of get a half a nod to say we're going to take care of prosecution or whatever. They may be doing something, but not at that level. It's not a presidential executive order. We're going to do a study. That's just irritating to me. But do a study to see what happened. How did the Capitol get breached? How did, please. But the fact that he won't do that, even with all that has been going on, and the lady that I didn't remember her name, but it was like a brief, maybe 5 minutes. I watched it, and she said, "Oh well, President Biden has so much on on the table, and giving him a pass. Are we giving him a pass?" That's what she was doing. He has so much. Oh, so much cleanup. Blah blah blah. You're president. We got you there. It's so much to do to say, "Oh, I'm gonna turn a blind eye. I'm not even gonna look at it. It's gonna go away." No, that's not how it works. We paid dearly, to elect you to the White House. Okay. I mean, I did not want to, I felt that I didn't vote for a while, several years. I just didn't believe in the system, and I don't, in and of itself, I don't, but I just didn't want to see Trump get in there again. So I pulled out all the stops, and I think a lot of people voted. Obviously, they voted, you know. And so this is where we are. We are in this two America system, no one nation under God. No, 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 no. That's why I can't even stand for the national anthem. Whenever I go back to the baseball game or whatever, I stay in my seat because I don't believe this is not true in my universe. No, it's probably not true in yours. So we have to call, as my mom would say, a spade a spade. So let's not, have popping circumstances that eat popcorn. It's like kumbaya. We are in two different Americas, two different realities. So if those folks that scaled the Capitol had the feet on people's desks, there were a lot of photo op of them getting, it was one guy, I think may have been from Arizona. He had his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk, I think. What? I mean, amazing. Why wasn't there? I'm not trying to incite violence, but what I'm saying is, if they were Black or brown people, we know what we just know. We know. We be counting the bodies, the number of bodies. There's no way that this country would not have responded. Oh, go back, and not laying the gun, knocking people upside the head, or worse. I'm not an advocate for violence. I don't believe in violence at all. But these militia people tried to overturn the election under the guise of Trump. Trump talked, and then he kind of let them just going down to the area and raise hell, and that's what they did. And I think six people were killed. I'm thinking six. But this is shameful. We're the laughing stock of the world because they don't. It's so much racism. It's so deep. It's deep in the soil. In the soil. So what's going to come up from the soil? More racism. Unfortunately, this is hard for me to talk about. But I've been in this country 57 years, soon to be 58. Thank God. Thank ancestors, Most High, Buddhas, etc. But I've seen enough to know it's classic 101 racism. Different strokes for different folks. If you look like the people who scaled the wall like animals, I'm just calling it like I see it, waving the flag, Trump flag, all of that, all of that. And they were, USA, USA, whatever, all the chants and all that. And they had a poll, a lynching kind of look. That was so disturbing, obviously, because of our history. But they actually, I just wheeled it down. I don't know. But they had some they took some captions of this thing. I think it was a guillotine. It was at that level for Mike Pence. This is a white guy, Mike Pence, because he's a part of the transition of power, and they wanted to put him on the roaster and fry him, so to speak. So this is where we are. We don't want to think this. I believe in kumbaya, peace and love, smoke a blunt or what. I'm just saying. But we don't like to see this, but it's so obvious. Why we cannot talk about this? It boggles my mind. Because Black and brown people got you over the finish line. No question. No question. No question. Biden, President Biden, I will give you your title. President Biden, please, we got you over the finish line. Because I wanted to vote Green Party, and I was like, Deanne, this ain't the time, to make a stand. We got to get Crazy Man out of the office. So I voted for Biden and Kamala, I admit. So I'm bamboozled. I didn't even expect it to go so quickly south because I figured it was so obvious with the whole insurrection, January 6th. So I just felt that was in the bag. So we got that. The senators, it would pass. They say, hey, we got to look into this. This is, incredible to have this happen. I don't think this has ever happened before. I stand corrected, but I don't, with the transition of power, I don't believe this has ever happened before. But this is where we are. This is where we are. And we need to re-examine our position. If you consider yourself Democrat, if you consider yourself independent, we have to reposition ourselves because we give our sweat, we give our blood, we give so much to get so little. We give so much to get so little. And so, as I was sharing the other day, we should have a list that's been reviewed throughout the community, whichever committee, whatever. This is before we vote, like maybe 6 months before we vote. Say, whoever is the Democratic or whatever, whomever, perhaps Democratic, to be able to have a notarized list. The list would be notarized to say, hey, these are our demands. Not, well, let's see, when we get in the office, they're always pushing us back. Wait till we get in office and we'll figure it out. That's just ridiculous and rude. So we have to look at our vote a little bit carefully, because if it's happening with Kamala, Vice President Kamala, and Joseph Biden, S. Biden, I think, it can happen any time. This is supposed to be the progressive ticket? Seriously? They won't even President Biden, you will not even do the very obvious of going to get the commission formed and, you know, prosecute, whatever needs to happen. To say you are a part of the goal of equity, truth, equity, just looking across the board, it looks like it's white people, white men especially. This was on January 6th. And women, there were a few women in there. But now you will not do the very obvious. Shame on you, Biden. Shame on you. I cannot trust you. Never really in my heart of hearts trust. I don't, trust is really an interesting word because I use it very sparingly because I see the signs of, I don't want to say disappointment, because if I'm disappointed, there's an expectation. I had an expectation, therefore I am disappointed. I don't think I had an expectation, but I figured you all would do the obvious and the right thing. People saying home on the breed, free, home on the, whatever it is. I don't even remember. But anyway, this should be enough for people to be seriously upset. So if we have a list, 20 items, I'm serious, on the next election, major election, I guess 2024, and say, these are our demands. Reparations will be on the list. Reparations will be on the list. It's a shame. That should be the least that they could do. We were paid. We did not have to pay enslaved Africans for hundreds of years. So think about that. Not 5 years, hundreds of years, 250 years or more. Shame on the United States. This is almost sickening. It is sickening because we deserve the best that we can elect. And these two, probably better than the one that was in there, no doubt, perhaps. But sometimes it's a little tricky because you're saying, oh, it's a D behind the name, so I should give them the benefit of the doubt. No. Look at the heart. Look at what they do. Like I talked about yesterday. I talked about actions speak louder than words. We see your actions. This is 6 months in. Just not even 6 months in. So we can't go. We got you. We got you the office. Because it's like, okay, wait till we get in the office, and we'll get back to you. Now you're in the office, and the one thing, 2 or 3 things you could do at a strike of the pen, and say, hey, we're gonna help you help yourselves and get reparations. This is a right. $2 million per house or per person or whatever. We'll figure it out. But let that be a part, not so much the conversation. I'm sick and tired of the conversation. We need to have a conversation. If I hear that one more time, I have hair under here, but it's like, oh, we need to have a conversation. No, we're past the conversations. Haven't we had enough conversations? How many more conversations and no action? We can talk all day, all night. Going around, and not get one thing done. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. So we have to have a list that's been signed off for all states or whatever. However we do it, we have enough time for 2 years or 2.5 years to put this all together. So enough is enough. We have taken the high road all the time. We are the most humble, sweet, generous people. Our hearts are big, and this is not, this country doesn't, they're not put together like that. These systems in place, they're not put together like that. We come from a heartfelt, people, energy, kind of get it, you know, we'll be a little bit more calm, cool, collected. But this is not the time. We have to have demands, because we see if no one is going to hold themselves accountable, saying, okay, Black and brown people, you all been on the short end of the stick for centuries, decades, hundreds of years, whatever. We know you have your just due. So just not only put it in writing, but enact, get it done, one and done. There's no reason for us to be, well, they have to get into office, and well, they have a short window of time before it's probably going to go back to Republican. Yeah, it's like a split now. So I think Republicans are going to they're going to be dominant in 2 years, well, 1.5 years, I'm sure. The Senate is going to be a little bit more Republican. So if you have a small window of getting these laws and situations put on the books, doggone well you don't have 4 years, because they're going to vote in another year and a half. They're going, certain people are going to be, retiring, rightfully so, but the lady, it's so funny, one of the newscasters here, when I didn't connect the dots at first, and so pretty popular. She and it was a network that I'm not going to shout out any network, but I was watching for news, for my local news, and all of a sudden, she was kind of missing in action. And this was right around the time of the election, where Trump did not get back in. So I was like, And then she was like off the air, and she had somebody filling in, and and this and that. And I was like, it seemed, but I remember her interviewing Trump. And I was like, So I'm now putting two and two together. And she is now Kari Lake. Kari Lake, look her up, Kari Lake. She is running for Republican governor. How about that? Because she was so upset because the vote, she felt, wasn't true and factual, and she was on that train. And she left like 23 years with the network she was on, maybe 23, 20, close to retirement, and she bounced out. And she was like, she made some public statements like, this country isn't, she was making certain comments that made me feel that it was a problem because Trump didn't get back in. But definitively, I didn't know. So when they announced that she is running for Republican governor, I put all the two and two is four, right? So I tell you, anyway. But yeah, I think that we are living in two Americas. When we free ourselves we are freeing ourselves if we can admit it. A lot of people aren't able to admit that we live in two Americas. This is where we are. In fact, I probably shared a story. I'm going to close in a minute or two, but I shared this story because of my name. When I first moved over here, they probably thought I was a white female. Not too many black females with the name Deanne, and my last name Meningall. Then I mean, they probably checked the Caucasian box. So when I first moved over here, and they had the sign still up, for sale sign, and I was telling them, I've been in here like a month, and anyway, they eventually got the sign down, for sale sign. I had moved in and settled and all like that, but they didn't know this brown woman, Deanne Meningall. Oh my God. So they were putting some fines on me, and saying I did certain things, and my Irma Ragsdale, I never forget that name. She was we don't have attorneys to close you. We have the title companies to close you. And so when I sent all this stuff to Irma. I was like, I thought we had already settled. They were sending me fines in the mail, and you didn't do, and da, 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 and it was just so bogus stuff. I knew that my name was the deciding factor, because when they saw this brown body, oh my God, I laugh all the time because my brother has gone through it. His name is Seth, Seth. Come on, Seth. Mm-mm. That's not a black name. I saw a Seth on the news. A person being interviewed. His name was Seth. I do remember that. But Seth Thomas, my father named him after his watch. So my father had a Seth Thomas watch, and that's how my brother was named, Seth Thomas. And so we've caught it, this first name, last name, we both kind of, tongue in cheek of laughing like, I know they don't expect us to come in the room. And so it's just, we live in two Americas, confirmed. So let me go ahead and close. I really appreciate you, being here. Share, like, subscribe. That's pretty much all I had today. I just want to say, hey, once we recognize that we live in two Americas, because see, the truth will set us free. We're still, standing on the Pledge of Allegiance. We used to stand and face the flag in elementary school every day. Indoctrination of getting that out, and that was back in the late 60s, early 70s. I remember doing that. Very, very, very long time ago. So these indoctrinations are deep. We have to cut them and perhaps burn them, rightfully so, because it's just a shame that, this is where we are. I would like to have it one nation under God. Absolutely. If you believe in God, whatever you believe in, but clearly one nation. But I don't see that to be the case in my personal life and the lives of my friends and family. I just don't see it. But consider that Andrew Hacker again, Two Americas, and there's a subtitle, but I do remember, I have that book upstairs, Two Americas. So check that. I think it was late 1990s, maybe 1995, somewhere in there. And yeah, because this is where we are, two Americas. Because I know, like I know If those are Black and brown people, even though they would not have been, because we have the dignity and the peaceful nature. We don't have a killing nature. We don't have an assault type of nature, So I know it would not have happened. That would not have been on our watch because that's not how we're put together. Had it been, they would have been target practice, scaling up. They would not have been able to get up to the roof. These people went up to the roof. They were scaling the roof. I mean, who does that? Animals? Anyway, that'll be part 2 tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, we will remain civilized people. That's all we know to do. That's how we are put together. We're not savage. We're not in that mind frame. Because that's just not who we are. And we're going to be true to ourselves. And there's a song, true to myself, and that is Incognito. So listen to that, True to Myself. But yeah, when it'll set us free. Truth will set us free. Because right now we're not in the 2 Americas. We are in 2 Americas, excuse me. We are in 2 Americas, unfortunately. I would not like to feel that or say that, theoretically, all the bloodshed of my ancestors, to come to 2021 and we're still, going over the Voting Act and the voting rights. People are trying to overturn. I mean, it's just crazy. It's literally bonkers, So I'm not trying to encourage anyone to have any alcohol or use any drugs, but I don't. I've been there, done that. But it boggles my mind that people will do that, but yet at the same time, some people just have to decompress whichever way they know how, because this is a tough time to be. It's a good time to be alive, but it is a tough time to be alive. Let me make that clear. So it is a good time because we can make change. We can make change, but the change is going to be getting that list. We need to put that list together. Call me up. We need to get that list out. We need to circulate and have it notarized. We're not giving our votes away anymore. We have to dig our feet in the sand and not be able to move. So say, we're not going to give you our vote unless we get boom, 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 boom. We've done this over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's ridiculous. So save your vote, vote Green Party. Because I'm just saying, I'm not willing to give away my vote. I gave it away in 2020. I'm not willing to give it away again. Not again. Never again. Never again. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Please be safe. It is 10,000 degrees here. I've been out most of the morning. I had to run a lot of errands today. And when I got home, it was right at 1 o'clock, and I was like, and it was not even the peak of the heat. I think it's like it might be 108 or 107 today. But I'm gonna have a quick little run tomorrow to LA Fitness, and it's gonna be a one and done. I got a lot of stuff to do on the computer, so I will. Thank you for, listening, and share, and send me comments, if you like to see me cover a certain topic, I'm willing to do that. And I'm just one voice. I just want it to be heard. And thank you so much for sharing and listening. All right. And be safe. Take care. All right. Peace.